This morning in Sabbath school, we talked about Jonah. And a few years ago, quite a few years ago, I got a book. The book was entitled Great Shark Stories. It was a compilation of a variety of stories put together by a Ron and Valerie Taylor, which was a couple that has done a lot of filming of sharks in their natural environment. And obviously they have a lot of stories to tell about it. But all of the stories in the book, except for 2 or 3, were published stories that they compiled together in this book. And they added a little preface to each story. One that was probably the most amazing to me was they were involved with filming for a documentary entitled Blue Water, White Death. And it was a search for the great white shark. Off of South Africa, where whaling at the time was in full force, occasionally a harpooned whale would be attacked by sharks, and there would be literally hundreds of sharks feeding on a single whale. And they went filming these sharks. They were in cages so that they weren't getting attacked. And the director of the film says, I'm not getting the close-up views that I would like. Can we go out of the cages and swim up closer to the whale? And everybody kind of said, you got to be kidding, right? And no, this is what I want. So they formed teams of 3. There was the cameraman who was filming, and there were 2 others, and all of them had their backs together. And the 2, all their job was to hit the sharks that came close to them. And after several attempts, they actually got the footage the director was looking for. They actually ended up swimming right up to the whale. They were right there beside these sharks feeding, getting close-up views. So this gives you kind of an idea of where Valerie Taylor came from in her view of the underwater world. She included in this book the story of Jonah. And I was surprised when I saw it. And it's straight out of the Bible. But her preface to it was amazing. She said, introducing it as coming from the Bible, and she had a lot of questions. Why wasn't Jonah digested? How did he breathe? What kind of animal could do this? Well, first off, her one conclusion was it was probably a shark rather than a whale. The Bible just says a great fish. And any biologist will tell you a whale is not a fish. Sharks have a habit of following ships because there is trash that gets thrown off of the ships. So it kind of fits together. But her conclusion was this: any fish that would swallow a person whole and vomit them back up on the command of God would have to be special in more ways than one. And I thought that was amazing. I have no clue how religious Valerie Taylor is, but here's someone who recognized that what God can do was something that was special in a multitude of ways. We forget that too often. We try to rely on science and on ourselves too often when God can do a variety of things in His ways.